All right, guys, I hope you're having a great evening. It's been quite the pilgrimage to get here. Sorry, my jaw's cold again. But I struggled through it. Now I'm here, but I have very precious little daylight to get my hot tent set up and get some wood cut. So it's still, there's the road coming in. It's still pretty chilly here. It's expected to get to about 29 tonight, which, it's not bad, but it's a little on the colder side. I'm glad I brought the hot tent again. And what I've got going on over here is, if you can see that, I've got this little sled, got all my hot tent gear, not hammock, I'm sorry, cot and all that, and it slides real easy. So I'm pretty excited about being able to haul all this stuff up in one shot instead of having to do, multiple hauls like I normally do with my cot and my wood stove and all that kind of stuff. So let me get up there, get this stuff set up, and we'll go from there. I'll catch you in a minute. All right, so that was quite the struggle, getting up here, getting the tent set up, getting some wood cut, getting the stove started, all in time before it started to really get chilly. It's only 30 out right now, so it's not too chilly, but inside here it's probably closer to about 80 because it's warm. I honestly don't even need this hat. The shirt I'm wearing is literally just a thin cotton shirt, no thermals or anything like that, and I am probably a little bit warmer than comfortable. And I've got the stove choked down quite a bit too. So I was cutting some wood with my little electric chainsaw, and I don't think I remembered to charge the batteries because the thing went dead on me super quick. So I ended up finishing up with a little axe and splitting and processing all my wood and kindling and all that from, small rounds that I had cut. And I'll show you the hero. That would be this guy right here. I'm sure you all recognize this. This thing processed an insane amount of wood insanely quickly. I really wasn't expecting that to work as fast as it did. I have the Granspur's small forest axe, and it'll process some wood, with the longer handle I can get a good swing on it and everything. But man, the versatility of this guy kind of has changed my opinion of what I would take as a one tool option for a cutting tool, because a lot of people want the bigger knives and all that kind of stuff because they say they can do fine work with them and then they can chop with them and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, any knife you can do fine work with isn't good for chopping, and any knife that's good for chopping really isn't good for fine work. Now this, on the other hand, I can choke up on this blade and do some pretty intricate stuff and still do some pretty substantial chopping. I was chopping oak rounds here, and after the battery died on my chainsaw, I actually finished off the cut with this guy and did it surprisingly quickly with surprisingly little energy required. And I haven't even sharpened this thing yet. It's still pretty dull. So I'm pretty impressed with that. And I mean, this thing is the price of a BPS knife. You could pair this with a BPS knife and have a pretty solid kit. So anyway, just wanted to give you a little update on that. I'm pretty impressed with this thing. It's not perfect. There are little flaws and this and that here and there, but nothing I can't take out with a Dremel tool if I really care that much. Any sharp edges I'll probably take off of it just because, getting cut out here kind of sucks. And also sharp edges, give you You know, they kind of give you a failure point that can happen with metal, especially when it's super cold. So I might clean it up a little bit, but you know, and then I'll sharpen it. Didn't have a lot of faith in it at first, was kind of wondering if it was worth bringing, but now I am extremely glad I brought it. So anyway, I'll catch up with you after a while. Maybe in the morning, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to do much else yet tonight. Good morning, guys and gals and children of all ages. Well, we made it through the night. Uh, I mean, made it through the night is an understatement. We smoothed it through the night. I didn't sleep very well, but I think it was just my own thing. Also, I've noticed that I'm sleeping on this cot, and it's very similar to a hammock in that, you know, you could have so much warmth on top of you, but you have to have something underneath you to keep you insulated from the airflow underneath as well. So the stove does a great job of keeping the air inside this tent incredibly hot, but that layer of heat stops right about where my cot sits, so that heat doesn't really get below me very well, especially when, well, like when I set up, there was snow on the ground. So I think I need to bring just a thin foam pad or a piece of Reflectix or something like that to throw either on top of the cot or underneath the cot to help just insulate my back from that. But topside, can't beat it. It was all warm. I actually did accidentally overheat my stove just a little bit, and it did kind of it did sort of warp my little stove jack right there a little bit. I mean, nothing that it's not repairable, and I can make another one for a couple of bucks, but let me show you that real quick. All right, so you see over here, I don't know if it's bright enough for you to see everything, but there's just kind of this little area that's showing. What you're seeing through there is the green tape, duct tape that I used to put that stove jack in. And the tape's fine. The tarp is pretty much fine, but the stove jack itself got a little bit warped. So it looks like I could probably just pull it straight and then retape it down and it'll be fine, because it really didn't hurt the stove jack actually around the pipe, oddly enough. It just warped it down here. So not a big deal. Not really in any danger of catching on fire or anything like that. But it's definitely something I'll keep an eye out for in the future, not to overload the stove with wood and let it burn too hot. I'll have to, if I want to load a lot of wood into it, I'll have to really choke it down. That way it doesn't get quite as hot in the future. All right, I'm gonna sit here for a few minutes, wake up myself, let the animals wake up, have a hot cup of Ovaltine. I tend to be more of a coffee drinker, but you know, this Ovaltine sounds good this morning. Plus I have kind of a sinus headache going on, and I definitely don't want to raise my blood pressure or anything like that and make my head pound more than it already is. So I'm ready to put a jacket on, get outside, and let's see if we can get some squirrel. I'll catch you in a minute. Alright guys, I managed to get 2 squirrels today. So my stove is starting to burn down. I think I'm going to go ahead and just break all this down and cook the squirrels at home, because I don't want to add wood to the stove, you know, so late in the day. I really need to go ahead and just get packed up and get down. So I had planned while I was up here to, I brought some chili, some homemade chili up here, and I was going to boil the squirrel up and then add the squirrel meat to the chili and eat it that way. But I may just go ahead and fry it or something like that, or I may still add it to the chili when I get home. But the day's running a little bit long. Took me a little longer to get those squirrels than I wanted to. And I think it's time to just go ahead and pack up and get down. I'm ready to get really, honestly, warmed up and showered and all that good stuff anyway. So I will catch you back down the hill, and I might turn this into a catch and cook video possibly. And we'll see how it turns out. I'll catch you in a little bit.